All right, so welcome to another installment of how I shot it and edited it and all of those things. I don't know exactly what it's called, but this is another installment. And today we're going to talk about the Brenizer method, otherwise the Bokeh Panorama, which is actually an update from this video, which I showed you like how to use a third-party app. Today I'm going to show you right inside of Lightroom how to turn this photograph into this one. Let's start the show. Perfect. All right, so now I will walk you through this process, how I do that, on how I turn this one right here into this photograph here. It may take a little bit while to load because my Lightroom is struggling. But essentially what I did, just so you kind of see the process, I like this with a 85 because I love the compression of all of this instead of a 35. Like, let me look for another photo that is a 35. I believe this one probably is. Oh, nice. So you can see here, this is a 35. You can see how elongated all of this stuff is here. Whereas when you bring it in with an 85, it's a lot tighter. Like these lines in between are tighter, and you can kind of see that here. So I love the compression that an 85 does rather than just how long and how far things seem in a 35. Now, 35 is more intimate and all those things. 85 has good compression. So you'll see what I literally did was I started with the middle of the person here. And I don't know why these are out of order, but I started with right in the middle, 85, focused on them. So I didn't focus anywhere else. I focused directly on them. And then from there, I did not change my focus again. So it's really important that you don't have half shutter push down focus on your camera. You want to make sure that's just like back button focus. So had the back button focus on them. And then what I ended up doing was shooting around them, like making a large circle. So you can see from here, I then went to here, then to here. Oh, whoops, not there. Okay, to here. So I went from here to here to here to here, and essentially I just went around in a circle. So you can see how that circle goes, never changing my focus. You can see it's still focused on them. So I did all of this from inside the camera. Good, and then ended right back to where it is there. So perfect. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I edit it exactly how I wanted. So this is my edit. That looks good for me, like where I can come in here. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go right back to the beginning one, which is right here. And I'm gonna Control-Command-S, bring up this, and I'm gonna make sure that they all are edited the same. So synchronize that right there. So it's a very similar edit. So you see some of those change. They changed colors so that they can make sure that it's consistent across the board. Now what I'm going to end up doing is going to come up tier 2. So I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I have no idea where this is in the tab up at the top. So I just go to help. I go to Pano. If I can type, I go to Pano, and then I come down here to Photo Merge. So if you want to know where it is, it's in Photo Merge, and then go to Panorama. Boom, there it is. So I'm going to click on that, and what it's going to do is it's going to put that stuff together for me. Now, if you do spherical can work, but sometimes it morphs on the end. So I tend to go with perspective because it shoots it puts it together, creates the panorama as if it was at my perspective photographing. And so I leave it at perspective, and then we just kind of wait for it to load. All right, so this is what it looks like right here. And for the sake of you seeing what it looks like within here, because I actually might go with spherical, so I'm going to go ahead to go perspective, and then I'm going to show you guys. It's going to remerge it, but I'm going to show you guys what it looks like in spherical. Okay, now you see the difference where it kind of like bows out, looks a little bit different, and I kind of like that look, so I'm going to go with that bowed out. Nope, I think I'm going to go with spherical, or perspective. Nope, I'm going to go with spherical. Okay. I like spherical a little bit more. So going with spherical, and then I'm going to come down here to merge. Tends to take a little bit, so I'm just going to probably fast forward the video here. I mean, honestly, it maybe takes like a minute. All right, now it's done. And for like a 13 photo panorama, it took about a minute and a half, and my computer's going slow. It sounded like a jet was taking off. Like my computer's just running slow now. Generally, it doesn't take that long, but it put all those together, and it created something that looked like this. So we've got this pano, looks like this once it loads. And now what I'm going to do is immediately I'm going to come in here and crop to what I think I like a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead, push R, crop that in. And I like to keep it at like my ratio that I tend to go to is like where's my crop ratios? Here it is. It's just a 4:6. So I'll crop it into a 4:6, bring that junk down like so. I like a little bit of sky, not too much sky. I don't even think I want any of the side. I want it like almost to look infinite. So we're gonna go here, right there. All right, so it's right in here like this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and expose for them. So like this. Let's see how clean that is. Okay, that's pretty clean. So I'm gonna expose for them right in here. Now what I'm gonna do is take my radial tool and I'm going to bring that into them right in here. And I'm going to, I've got a lot of brushes, so don't worry about my brushes here. But I'm going to probably come in and darken plus maybe. Okay, darken plus looks decent. And I'm going to see where my radial tool is so we can see all this. Now, this is super important. I see a lot of people doing their radial tool and then leaving the, like there's like ghosting. There's like white on the outside like this. They'll just leave it like that. And I'm like, bro, that looks terrible. I can see right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brush, like while I'm still on this radial tool right here, I make sure this is, so click on it, make sure you click on this one, click on the brush, and then what I'm going to do is make sure my flow is still high. I'm going to come in and I'm going to feel it fill in. You see it filling in right in here? Now what you can do is auto mask, and that auto mask will make sure that the radial tool actually doesn't go into like his pants or things like that. So auto mask is really nice for making sure it doesn't go into the edges, but it still gets a little sloppy, and I'll have to go in with like hand and kind of zoom in and do it. So let's go ahead and see, like it did a good job. We can see it went right around them. Like that's awesome. It did a good job at not going onto them. So like you'll see it won't go under her skin, even though the thing is almost right on her skin. So now let's zoom in here, and we're gonna turn off auto mask, and I wanna make sure that I don't go in. So boom, that's okay. I can go onto his pants a little bit because I'll show you exactly what I'm gonna do a little bit later. But I wanna make sure that I fill in these spaces so you don't get that weird ghosting look. So there it is right in there. Good, good, good. This looks good. And then now I'm gonna go to erase. And then erase the outline. You see that it's actually erasing right in there, which is nice. Boom, it's erasing. Like it'll go down and it erase from his pants. You see that? And that works well. I like that. So now I have a good, and generally I'll do this like on their face to make sure that there's nothing on their face there. So now I have a pretty good outline of them. And now I'm gonna adjust like my white balance. So I like it to be a little bit cooler because of how I think it actually looked pretty cool in this area. So, but what I don't want is I don't want them to look cooler. So I'm gonna come here, get my white balance the way I want it on their faces. So like that looks good. I might bring up my contrast a bit. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna really contrast this thing. Also, I like using auto white balance because auto white balance will get the tint right generally. And then from there, I will adjust the temperature. Now, I will go back into this radial filter, and I'm actually going to adjust the outside of this photo to be a little more blue. Like that looks really cool. That blue looks awesome. But they're not changing. It's not changing their temperature, which is what I like. Now, what I also see is that there's a little bit of like orange. So like this is very blue, but this is a little bit more orange, and I think that's because the sunset was on our left. So the sun was coming off of the edge of this mirror here. So I'm going to take in my my gradient filter here. Oh, not that. And I'm going to bring the gradient filter over. Boom. I'm also going to make the gradient filter sharper. So I'm going to make that edge pretty sharp by bringing in this back line. Boom, something like that. Okay, and then from there, I don't want this, and I don't want the sky or the ground to be affected. So I'm going to go to my brush, and I'm going to come to erase down here. And I'm just going to erase out the bottom portion and the top portion of this photograph so that those things don't actually get erased. So those things don't get affected by the white balance. So something like that looks good. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bump up the heat on there. That was a little much, so let's come down here. That looks a little bit better. And then let me actually, where's my filter option? Ooh, the filter, there it is. Okay, good. I might have that go out a little bit more, like that. Okay, and that looks pretty clean. So from here, bump up that contrast because I like that contrast to be nice and high. Like that. I'll probably bring up the shadows a tad bit. And that was a quicker version. Now, of course, it taken me a little bit longer to do it the first time I did it. But from there, this is essentially the final version right here. This is what I did before. Yeah, just not as orange. I had a little more teal and all that stuff. But essentially, it's the same as what I just did. So you get a good little idea of, so now you guys get a good little idea of how to use the Brenizer method from within Lightroom. Don't have to use any external apps. Also how to use the radial filter correctly, and then also how to use that gradient filter. So went through a bunch of good things here, and then you saw the final product going from this photo right here, which was just 185 vertical photograph. So going from that into an 85 horizontal while still keeping that compression and still keeping that nice 85 look. So and while still getting that nice 35 focal length, which is cool, with an 85 compression. That's why I mostly do it. So hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure that you mash that like button. You subscribe for all the updates because I'm doing this weekly. And you guys just keep up with it. So thanks so much. Hope you have an amazing day. It's